Or Does It Explode is a manhunt murder mystery written by Horace Mungin, talking about issues America faces right now. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Horace one-on-one. Mr. Horace.
Hello.
It is so good to see you.
It's good to see you. Good to meet you. It's my honor to be here with you.
Thank you so much. You know, a couple of months ago, you sent me this particular book,
Yes.
Or Does It Explode, that is,
Yes.
in the mail, and at the time you wanted me to read it. And I thought to myself, I gotta interview this guy. As we sit here right now, from what I read on Amazon.com, it says this, quote, Or Does It Explode is a thrilling historic manhunt murder mystery about what's possible in a society that obstructs social justice in favor of a false and temporary 400 years sense of racial superiority and security. There's so many things going on right now here in this country. What is your definition of a sense of justice, superiority, and security?
Justice is when everybody receives the same sort of treatment in this country.
Okay.
Security is when my grandkids can go out into the street and feel secure and not feel intimidated. And what was the other?
Oh yeah, this one, racial superiority and security. When you think of the events going on right now, what is the state of racial justice and superiority and security?
It's all in bad form right now. We got a long ways to go in order for the black citizens of this country to feel secure. Right now, I feel, and I guess a lot of people in the black community, I feel terrorized. I've got grandchildren in the age group that the police are shooting now. My youngest grandson is 13 and my oldest is 25, so they're right in that danger area, and I feel terrorized for them.
Wow.
So when we can rid black parents and grandparents of this feeling, we'd be moving in the right direction.
Well, you know, when I flipped through this particular book, I actually read this, and obviously you know that you're a noted author. You wrote a couple of books. Sleepy Willie Talks About Life. Sleepy Willie Sings the Blues. The Devil Beats His Wife. San Juan Hill. Subway After the Irish. Poetic Portraits. The African People of San Juan Hill. A Different Point of View. Truth and Absurdities. So tell me, why or does it explode? Why now?
Well, I think it's because of the way I felt doing all this police shooting. From the Trayvon Martin, which was not a police shooting, but a shooting just the same, from Trayvon Martin in 2012 to 2016, there have been so many police shooting of unarmed young black men and boys. And that feeling of impotence that I had during that period, not being able to do anything, being voiceless essentially. Older folks, I think, in the black community probably felt the way I did. What can we do? What can we do? Younger folks got out and they protested and tried to change things that way. But there was very little that older folks could do. We could get out and try to protest too. And I'm a writer, and so eventually, that build-up feeling in me exploded in what I call a primordial scream. And what I was screaming is Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And so my feeling resulted in this book. This book is essentially a murder mystery, so who done it on one level. On another level, it's a protest novel, protesting the unjust killing, unwarranted killing of young black men and boys. And on yet another level, it's a historical document because it catalogs the killing from 2012 to 2016. And on yet still another level, because it speaks about a taboo subject, the revenge killing of police,
right.
Then it gets this era of controversy. It gets another dimension of controversy, another dimension of controversy.
Right.
So this works on several levels. This book works on several levels.
Wow. Let me take you to the author's note. Now, you said this, Setting the Record Straight. The title of this book could easily have been, quote, Setting the Record Straight, but I am a huge Langston Hughes fan and want to pose one of the queried lines from his most challenging and intuitive poem about the fate of race relation in America. The title, Or Does It Explode, is only marginally linked to the content of the book. What is the fate of race relationships right now in America in your mind?
What is the face of it or the state of it?
You can say both if you want.
Well, the state of it is not right. We thought we were moving ahead when we elected Barack Obama as president, and we had this false notion of the post-racial era, and we see that didn't happen. But the election of Barack Obama created this white backlash, and now we have an election just the opposite of Donald Trump, where we have the appointment of Attorney General like Sessions,
right,
who's going to reverse everything that the Justice Department did under Barack Obama, and so we're in reverse gear right now, and probably for the next 4 years, and so we got to hank it down and try to hold some ground, probably through the courts. We work through the court system to try to maintain whatever we can. They're attacking voting rights. They're attacking a lot of the gains that was made in the civil rights era and during the 8 years of Barack Obama. So it behooves black people to hank it down and through the courts try to maintain what rights we do have.
You talk about Black Lives Matter. Obviously, that's one of the chapters in your particular book. If someone were to go and read this book from start to finish, what would you pick out as your favorite chapter?
I think it's chapter 13 or 14, where there's a character in the book that talks about the origin of white people. It goes back to the Stone Age, right, when all life started in Africa, this professor says in one of his speeches. And as people migrated out of Africa and went to Europe and other parts of the country, other parts of the world, right, they adjusted physically to the conditions of the parts of the world that they were in. White people who went to Europe lived in cages. They were without the sun. They were cold. They became white. They lost melanin, and became light and hairy. That would be my favorite chapter because it tells a lot of history that should be taught in school, right, in lower grades in school.
Wow. You talk about those characters. Obviously, there's Jonathan Mann, who was a biracial journalist. There was Paul Malone, a senior FBI agent. Jesse Johnson, another FBI special agent and counterintelligence expert. Then you have Professor Martin. You have Richard Reed, Jamila Stewart, Hector Melendez. If you were to meet those people in real life, what would you tell them right now about the state of America and the world when it comes to race relations?
Well, Ramrod was a Vietnam veteran, right, and in the book he dies in the book, and so I would tell him that the group that he formed to try to fight police brutality, that in this book at least they tried and they failed. Ramrod is, as I said, a Vietnam veteran who gathers a group of malcontents, I'd call them, and they form sort of a cult around Larry Davis, who was a real person, right, who had a shootout with New York City policemen in 1984, I believe. 20 policemen went to Larry Davis's sister's house to arrest him, and there was a shootout out there, and he shot 20 of the policemen and escaped and was able to elude them for 2 weeks with the help of family and friends. So doing this, he became a folk hero, not only in the Bronx, but among black people who knew about it, mainly because the police in the Bronx was so oppressive that the people would side with anybody who came out on top in a battle with the police. So Larry Davis was sort of so much of a folk hero. This was in 1984, during the beginning of hip-hop and breakdancing. Oh. And he was so much of a hero that there was a dance step called doing the Larry Davis. You know? And so Ramrod forms this group of malcontents around him, and these people are ex-soldiers from the Gulf War in the 90s and from the war in Iraq and from Afghanistan. Right. And there are also black policemen who have left the police force because of a variety of reasons. These are all malcontents, and they formed this cult worship of Larry Davis because he had the successful shootout with the policemen. and they in time directed their anger at the police, and they formed this group, and they started going after policemen who have shot or killed unarmed black young men and boys. And how they find out, you just simply go to Google and put in police shooting of young blacks,
right.
and there's lists that you'll get 1,000. So this is how they find out who they were after and where they lived at that time. And originally they operated out of the Bronx, New York, and eventually the area that they were operating from became a drug haven. And the landlords abandoned the apartments, right. And the city finally condemns that area for renovation. And so one of the guys in the group had inherited a farm in a small town in Alabama from his father, so they moved their operations to Alabama. By this time, the FBI task force that was after them, right. Found this one clue that they would leave at each of the murders. It was the black gray marble, and they found the manufacturer of the marble, and they found through the manufacturer they found an order form that was placed for the marbles, and this is how the first clue comes to Paul Malone, the FBI agent, and from there they go tracking this gang of killers.
Wow. Obviously, here in Charleston, we have obviously dealt with Melvin Emanuel tragedy. We've dealt with the Walter Scott issue. Obviously, that was a tragedy in itself. Obviously, you had Keith Scott and Charlotte. I gotta go back to this title again. Or does it explode? What is keeping you, Horace, from not exploding?
Hope and faith in the future. But the title comes from Langston Hughes' poem, "What Happens to a Dream Deferred?"
Right.
Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust over and sugar like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? So Langston Hughes asked this question, and I used the intrigue that's implied in this question, right, to hopefully get some interest in the book.
Wow. Well, we know that you are a published author. But when you put down that writing pen, who is Horace Mungin?
Mostly a gardener. I love gardening. I just planted some sweet peas 3 weeks ago, and they're like about an inch high, creeping out the ground. I just love gardening. When I lived in New York, I grew up in New York,
yes,
and spent most of my married life in New York. And I lived on the 16th floor in a section called Concourse Village. Okay. And we had a terrace, and I had a friend of mine to build me this like trough. It was six feet long, 1.5 feet wide, high, and 1.5 feet wide. And in there I would grow collard greens and stuff like that. My neighbors would look out the window and say, "That boy needs to move back down south."
And here you are.
And here I am, yeah. I always planned on coming back. When I was young, I was born in Hollywood, South Carolina. And when I was a young boy, every summer my mother would send me back to Hollywood to stay with my grandmother, to spend the summer with my grandmother while she was alive. And so that's how I got my feel for the South. And I always told my cousins, one day I'm going to move back here. Nobody believed me, you know. And I was fortunate enough to meet a young lady later on in life who was also from South Carolina. She's from Ridgeville. Oh, yeah. And we got married and have children. We always said, we're going to move back. And I retired from the New York City Transit Authority in 1989. Wow. We had our house built and we moved back. Wow. I turned my uniform on a Friday, and Monday morning we were in our house here. That's how quickly it happened, wow, seemingly anyway.
Wow. I gotta go back again to the title, Or Does It Explode? What has this particular book taught you?
Well, you know, in researching this book, African Americans in the United States, we've showed a great deal of tolerance, you know. And we've been treated as though we're different than everybody else. Now, in a lot of ways we've been treated this way, but like we can be abused and then we'll just continue to take it. I don't think we are. I think we're just like everybody else. I think African Americans, just like any other group of people, that eventually so much abuse will result in, or this explosion what this book is talking about, that there will come a time if this kind murder of black youth continue. There will come a time when black people will say, we've got to do something. We're not going to just sit there until the last black person is murdered in the street. We're going to organize and do something. I'm not advocating revenge or anything, but that's just human nature to protect human nature to protect yourself.
Well, Horace Mungin, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Thank you. Appreciate you. It's my honor.
Anytime. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.